The next question is from a senior security analyst, and he says, I am a senior security analyst. I sit through certification audits for my organization. In the recent audit, my manager and the auditor were discussing about the applicability of the threat intelligence control from the ISO 27001 standard. I want to understand the applicability of threat intelligence control and actions required to satisfy the audit requirements. Okay, so threat intelligence control, when it comes to applicability, fine, from the ISO 27001 standard perspective, this will always apply because of the nature of the cybersecurity industry. Threats are, you need to always identify the new threats, and if you do not have the threat intelligence as a process, then those new threats will not be addressed. You will not get to know and you will not be addressed. Fine. So as a control, you'll have to always say that this is applicable. But when it comes to taking implementing the control, then you have to understand what kind of business you are in. If you are in a specifically a software development environment, when you are developing a software for yourself, or maybe a host, or maybe providing a software services to your customers, or maybe a SaaS platform to your customers, in that case, that software, you are responsible to identify what the threats are, what the new threats of the software are, and how it will come, how to identify. You need to identify what components of what software components are used in your application. So there might be certain libraries, certain modules which might require updates or upgrades. Fine. So you may need to change the code as well. Sometimes when the new vulnerabilities have been identified, new threats have been introduced. Fine. So that is an action, absolute action that you need to take to maintain the security of your software solution. Fine. But if you are not having a custom software solution, you already have the threat intelligence built into your antivirus, built into your XDR, EDR, firewalls. Fine. All the solutions comes with a threat intelligence information, because the latest threats are being identified, and these security solutions companies keep sending updates to their solutions. Fine. Your antivirus definitions you update the antivirus definitions to address those latest threats. The virus as a threat here, the malware as a threat here. You are able to you are updating your definitions to be able to address or maybe protect yourself against that new threats. Same with the firewall. Firewall also keeps the firewall definitions also gets the updates from the firewall vendor, and there also we are trying to address the latest threat basically, that somebody can launch an attack against, send an exploit. Fine. So those latest threats are being addressed by your firewall also. And in terms of software components, all the software software providers basically, whether it is a Microsoft, Adobe, Corel, any other software vendor, when they all softwares comes with the regular updates, that is the OS or that is the application. Fine. So those OS and applications, basically why they're sending updates is because there are new vulnerabilities have been identified, new threats have been identified, and they're trying to address those threats and vulnerabilities with the help of by sending the updates to the software. Coming to the satisfying the audit requirements, you have to document it accordingly. Fine. You may not need a manual action if you're not having any custom application. Fine, because there it is already you're already using a software solutions, also security solutions, where the threat intelligence is integrated into this solutions. Fine. So but you have to document well that these are the sources from where I'm getting the threat intelligence information, and this is integrated in my these solutions 1, 2, 3, and this is how my cycle gets completed. In the applications development scenarios, when you have the custom application, there you have to understand what the components of software you have, identify the sources from where you can get the information of threat intelligence, and then you have to analyze and address those new threats and vulnerabilities for your software solution. And you will not get a software updates for your custom applications from any vendor. That's the catch here. Fine. So you may require manual action, you may not require manual action. Fine. Otherwise also, if we talk about the antivirus solution, all the antivirus solution, the control of the antivirus also says antivirus need to be regularly updated. So your threat intelligence is also will do the same thing. Same way, firewall also requires regular updates. So again, threat intelligence will also do the same thing. And your softwares also requires regular updates. That's patch management or technical vulnerability management and the control of ISO 27001. So that also talks about the same thing, that identify the new vulnerabilities and so that you can install the patches, right? So that is again will address the same thing. Sometimes you may get some additional information where you want to alert people. For example, a new kind of ransomware trying to target your specific industry. Fine. In that case, if you keep an eye on the latest threats and this kind of information, so then you can probably send this as a message to the organization, fine, so that people are like, you can tell them, okay, if this is a kind of new phishing email or new kind of these are the vectors through which this kind of a new threat can come in, fine, and that you can inform people, educate them so that they do not respond to it or they report it to the security team, fine. So that's the action which is needed from the in a regular standard organization which does not have any custom application, fine. So threat intelligence is definitely applicable. When it comes to taking action, you may need to keep an eye on the latest threats. You can subscribe to certain newsletters and new updates and the channels through which you can get the updates. If you are into a standard environment which is not having any custom applications, you only need to keep an eye on it, and if there is something worth alerting people, that you can send the alerts to people. Otherwise, use antivirus, firewall, and all other security solutions have all those the controls what we implement for security, fine, they automatically address this as well. But if it is a custom application, in the custom application you document it in a way that these are my threat sources, this is how I identify, evaluate, fine, and fix those issues in my application. So this is what you need to do for the threat intelligence control of the ISO 27001 standard. I hope this was useful. If you have any further questions, please feel free to ask me a question. Thank you so much.